Okay, I'm the creator of my reality, right? Money is an integral part in creating my reality. Why? Because this time-space reality runs on money. Money is a beautiful, mutually beneficial resource that we use to receive our desires and support someone else in receiving their desires. Money is just an overall amazing benefit. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So I have the desire to create a life for myself where I have the Versace Medusa platform shoe because I think that they're so hot. I have the desire to allow those shoes into my life. Now, there's a million ways that those shoes can come into my life, right? There's a way for those shoes to come into my life. They could be gifted to me. Somebody can message me, hey, I love you so much. You're so amazing. I watched your live. I watched how you talked about the Versace platform with so much passion. I want to buy those for you. I want to gift those to you. Here you go. Send me your address. Boom. Now, if that happened, that person would still be paying that money. So I still would have received that money. It just didn't go to my bank account before it went to Versace. Because the shoes cost money to leave the shop. The shoes cost money to leave the shop. The shoes cost money to be made. So there's money in that process. The shoes come to me. Somebody paid money for them. If I'm receiving the shoes, I'm receiving money. Now, the thing about this is that when we're creating our reality, we want a specific feeling state. We want the things that we want because we believe that it's going to make us feel a particular way when we get them. So there is a feeling state that I feel when somebody gifts me shoes. Oh my God, these shoes are so hot. They're so sexy. Thank you so much. I wouldn't decline if somebody were to send me the Versace platforms as a gift. I would say, thank you so much. Oh my God, right now, the Versace mules, I don't even know if they're still selling them. I didn't like them until I saw them on like a Twitter post and they just look so good. And this black girl's skin tone. And I'm just like, oh my God, I need them. And a little anklet and a little sundress. Oh, honey, I'm out of here. So now I'm like, I love these mules. I want these mules. If somebody were to gift me these shoes, I would be like, oh my God, thank you so much. Yes, I would be able to wear them. But that feeling state is a little bit different than the feeling state that I would be in had I purchased the shoes for myself. If somebody gifted me the shoes, it depends on who was gifting it to me. If a romantic interest gifted me the shoes, I might feel loved every time I put on the shoes, cared for every time I put on the shoes. There's somebody who loves me and pays enough attention to me and to what I'm saying, my passions and my interests, and they take the initiative. Oh my God, that's such a masculine partner. They take the initiative to buy me things that they know are going to bring me pleasure, happiness, joy. That communicates to me that this is somebody that cares about my emotional well-being. They care about my happiness. They care about bringing me things that give me pleasure. I love that experience. That's a great feeling experience. It really is. But then there's the experience of buying the Versace platforms myself. And even if somebody gifted me, like, okay, if somebody gifted me like the black platforms and the purple platforms and the yellow platforms, I'd be like, perfect. But you have to stop because I have to at least get the pink platforms for myself. Why? Because my desire is to be completely supported by my business. It's for my business to completely support my lifestyle, my hobbies. Fashion is very much a hobby to me, for my business to completely support my creative self-expression. So there's one scenario where somebody gifts me the gorgeous, beautiful shoes, which I will always accept. And every single time I put those shoes on, I feel loved, I feel cared for, I feel stylish, I'm creatively expressing myself. It's a beautiful story to affirm. And then there's the reality where I buy the platforms myself. I went out the other week, and every single thing that I had on, my dress, my shoes, my little undershirt, my underwear, my watch, my glasses. My mom bought these glasses for me. But other than that, my makeup, my hair ties, my brush, my hair gel, the moisturizer, my soap, my lotion, my perfume, every single thing that I had on, I purchased it myself. And so when the outfit all came together, I really felt like a bad bitch because I looked so good, but I really felt like a bad bitch because I completely support myself through this business that I have created, that I have built, that I run. I have creatively expressed myself in such an amazing way. I look so beautiful. The belt that I had on, everything, I paid for it. It was giving very independent. You put on that outfit and you feel entrepreneurial success. You buy the hot pink Versace platforms and you put those on, and every single time you put those on, you feel entrepreneurial success. I completely support myself through my business, through income, profit in my business. I have enough profit in my business to purchase the things that I want. That's a different vibe than getting those gifted to you. So we've discussed that. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning conversation. Money is needed. No matter what avenue you're taking, somebody got to pay for these shoes at some point, unless you're stealing the shoes. And then, unless you're stealing the shoes, no, you're funny. It's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. Let's just talk about that. Let's just throw that in. Let's just say that you were stealing the shoes. If you were stealing the shoes, how would you feel? What vibration would you be tapped into? I'm going to be honest. If somebody was stealing the shoes, or, and this is no shade to anybody, you do whatever lights you up. But let's say that you wanted like what is it called? Counterfeit. It's called counterfeit, right? Where they try to where they pretend to be a different brand, but it's not that brand. I don't like counterfeit. So Versace came out with the platforms, and then Steve Madden came out with some platforms. And I don't hate Steve Madden's shoes. I don't really have a lot of pairs of them, or maybe any of them at all. I might have a pair of sandals. I don't remember. But the point is that I don't want those shoes just because those shoes are less expensive. I don't want the copycats. I want the original, because that's what lights me up. I get a specific feeling from having the original Versace shoes. The Steve Madden shoes are cute, but they don't even have the little Medusa thing. It just, you know what I mean? It's not the same vibe. It's not the same vibration. When you have designer things, the vibe is different. The vibe is higher. I cannot explain it. It's a feeling thing. Energetically, you understand. So it's if you were stealing it or you were getting a counterfeit thing, that's more of a, I'm doing this thing in order to get love and connection, in order to get a sense of being accepted by other people. And when I say the counterfeit thing, I'm not necessarily talking about the Steve Madden shoe, even though I kind of sort of am, because it is very much possible that you could see the Steve Madden shoe and be like, I like this more than the Versace platform. And then the Steve Madden shoe would for you be the vibration of entrepreneurial success or adulthood or, whatever that would be. Creative self-expression. Like, if that's what lights you up, then that's what lights you up, and that's fine. I was just talking from the perspective of my style. But my point is that the person who buys the bag that's Louis Vuitton, but it's not actually Louis Vuitton, that person is buying that bag because the counterfeit bag, and let me just say from my perspective, if it was me and I got a counterfeit bag, I wouldn't be getting a counterfeit bag so that I could stunt and flex. I wouldn't pull a counterfeit bag out of my closet and think to myself, I'm really killing them with this one. Because in my head, I'd be thinking, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake, this isn't real. Baby, you're not even here. You're an illusion. But I would get that bag, and a majority of people are buying those bags because they want love and connection, because they want to be accepted by other people, because they want to be aligned with a particular status, with a particular group of people, but they don't feel worthy of truly aligning with that particular group of people. It would be the vibration of kind of like faking it till you make it. There's no way that I can put it in a high vibe way because it doesn't feel high vibe to me at all. It's a completely different thing. If you want to get a Louis Vuitton bag, if you want to get a designer bag, the way that these bags are made, the way that these bags are put together, the time, energy, and effort, the craftsmanship, the details and everything that's put into the websites, the marketing, the energy, the fact that, and I don't know if it's Louis Vuitton, I don't know if it's Dior. I don't remember who this is, but it's somebody. People, before they make the bags, they have to go to school for it. They have to learn. It's a very time-consuming process. These are, these are skills that have to really be honed in to be able to do this. So the vibration of something is going to be higher when somebody has taken the time, the energy, and the effort and put into that thing attention to detail, the various fabrics, various materials, various leathers. How does this feel in my hand? How does this take dye? How are these different colors popping? Right? The more time, the more energy, the more effort that somebody is putting into something. And this is just one way of assessing or determining value. This is one way that I determine value. That value is going to go up. That vibration is going to go up. So it's not that it can't be easy for you and be high vibrational. I just wanted to put that disclaimer there. So take it all the way back to what we've just said about money, because we kind of gone off on a little tangent there, but it was a really good one and I enjoyed it. So money makes the world go round. You need money. Money is being spent regardless. And if you're not spending money and you're just stealing all of the things that you have, if you have to steal something, you really, really don't feel worthy. There is nobody that is stealing everything that they have who feels high vibrational, good about themselves, and is experiencing entrepreneurial success. You might be putting on a front for other people. You might be trying to project some outward image, but we don't focus on an outward image in this in my business, on this platform, however the fuck it is that you're listening to this, we don't focus on an outward image. We focus on emotional well-being. So it's our internal world, our emotional reality. And if you're somebody who focuses on your emotional reality is not going to be one that is sunshine and roses and rainbows if you're stealing a whole bunch of shit, because it just doesn't feel good. And the only time that I steal something is if I don't really feel worthy of that thing. Okay? So, take it all the way back. Money makes the world go round. Taking away the feelings of unworthiness and the stealing, no matter what, if I'm receiving my desires, somebody's paying for something at some point. And as long as somebody is paying for something at some point, then I'm receiving that money. I've seen it explained like Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zankina, said this in a podcast that I listened to a while ago. If she's ever experiencing a discount, she gets money off, she considers that to be money that she receives. And I love that. Because I've been super duper in alignment, super duper just, connected to my inner being. And every single website that I go to, it's like 20, 30, 40% off. It's like, I want this coffee maker. I go to the website. The coffee maker that I want is on sale from $200 to $50. It's like, fuck yeah. Thank you, universe. I love this deal. I accept. So, money makes the world go round. I'm the creator of my reality. I've come here to do one thing, and it's create. Okay, well, I've come here to do like two things. It's to create and also to experience my own creation. That's what it means to live your life. To experience life, to be alive, is to experience your own creation. Those of you who are here, you're drawn to my work, you're listening to this audio, and I've been talking for 17 minutes, you're on the journey of learning to or improving your skills of consciously creating your reality and experiencing your conscious creation. So everybody's creating, regardless of whether or not they are consciously creating, but they are creating. That's why we say a lot of people are unconsciously creating, meaning they don't have an awareness of their internal world. They don't have an awareness of their emotional reality. They don't have an awareness of their beliefs. They're not using their thoughts, their focus, and attention with intention, and thus are experiencing a reality that is a byproduct of their childhood experience. And living in the world that we live in today, where a lot of people are emotionally immature people cannot create an environment of safety and security for a child. A majority of people in the world today are creating realities of pain and trauma and hurt and suffering. So, you've come here to create your reality. You're on the journey of learning to consciously create your reality and experience that. So if your desires and your will and God's will are one and the same, I was thinking, should I explain that more? No. When you join the course, you'll understand, because we go more in depth and there are prayers to help you understand, and it's really good stuff. So if your desires and God's desires are one and the same, and your desire is to create a reality where you have your own apartment, and let's say that the apartment that you want is $2,000 a month, or the apartment that you want is $30,000 a month, or $1 million and $1,000,000. Yeah. Let's say that it's $1,000,000 every single month for the apartment that you want. And it's the apartment that lights up your soul. It's the apartment that you have been inspired to want by God. Your inner being is like, this is your apartment. This is how you're meant to be living. You feel it. You know it. You get excited every time that you think about it. Then that must mean that $100 million, what? No, I said $1,000 million. It must mean that $1,000 million is coming into your bank account every single month for you to pay rent. And I don't know what your utilities are and if that's included or what the fuck ever. But we don't even need to get too complex with it because you understand what I'm saying. You're inherently worthy of receiving money because money is what you need to receive your desires. Even if you're receiving it as a gift, somebody, somewhere, someplace is releasing the funds in order to support you in receiving that desire. So when we're having a conversation about, I want to receive more money, why am I inherently worthy of receiving more money? Well, I'm inherently worthy of receiving more money because I'm inherently worthy of creating my reality. I'm inherently worthy of the lifestyle that I want to live. And if the lifestyle that I want to live looks like taking $20,000 one-way flights, then that must mean that there's $20,000 on the way to me just for my flight. Because I'm meant to create my reality, and creating my reality is meant to be easy. And the how $20,000 comes to me, that part is not my job. Are you feeling me? So money is meant to come to me. Money is meant to come to me. Money is the physical manifestation of God's support and love. I'm inherently worthy of money. I'm inherently worthy of my desires, period. Now, my job is to make it easy for money to come to me. How do I make it easy for money to come to me? I ask for a raise at my job. How do I make it easy for money to come to me? I can open it up and say, God, I'm ready to receive more money. I'm ready to receive more money more easily than I've ever received more money before. And then you will be guided on a million different things. If you're a business owner, you might be guided to create a new program. If you're working someplace and you have a boss and you are not guided to actually ask for a raise, you might be sitting someplace in a meeting or some shit like that, and then an idea pops into your head, and then you share that idea, and then your boss is like, holy fucking shit, that's the greatest idea that I've ever heard. And then everybody at your company is like, what the fuck? How did this idea come to you? And the answer is that the idea came to you from God, from source energy, because you're doing the work and you're tapped in to your inner being, and you aren't dismissing your thoughts because you know that you're worthy. You trust yourself. You're more confident in yourself. You're more confident in what you receive. You value yourself more than you ever have before. You value your perspectives. You value your opinion. You value what you bring to the table. And then everybody is responding. They're like, oh my God, this is such an amazing fucking idea. Let's say that your job implements the idea. The idea makes your job millions of fucking dollars, billions of fucking dollars in income. Your boss is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Insert your name here, whoever the fuck is listening to this. You're too fucking good. We gotta get you. Here's a bonus. Here's a bonus check. Here's a new position. We're creating a new position in the company solely for you. Whether that's for you to become the idea person, if the ideas keep flowing and that feels good for you, or so that you can run this section, this new branch of our business rooted in your idea. And we're going to provide you the resources that you need to grow and expand this. Boom, you now have money for $1,000 million every single month for your rent. And we're being funny, but we're dead ass motherfucking serious. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, my job is to make it easy for money to come to me. People who, let's talk about that perspective. Ooh, this is such a good conversation. So you know that perspective of, okay, well, where people will be like, something, something, something for this? if I'm paying this and this and this for this, I better get this outrageous fucking thing, right? So it's like, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to think about something that would be outrageous to pay for, but I can't. I can't think of anything that would be outrageous to pay for because I have no limits to what I will spend. If I want it, I'm gonna let myself receive it. Period. Okay, so let's say $20,000 for a flight. If I'm paying $20,000 for a flight, my plane better be see-through. I better get the option to walk out on the wing of the plane whatever I want to. For $20,000 on a flight, I better be able to walk into the cockpit, is that what it's called? and get a flying lesson from the pilot. For $20,000, I better be able insert whatever fucking outrageous shit else you could possibly think of. And the people that are coming from that perspective, for all of this money, I better be able to blah, 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 blah. They're coming from lack. Those are people who believe that they're not worthy of their desires. They don't know that they create their reality. They don't know that it gets to be easy for them. And they live in a paradigm. Their personal truth is that you have to work hard for money. So the harder that I have to work for money, the harder that I have to work for money to receive, I want to say the harder that I have to work for money, yes. But also the harder that I have to work for a smaller amount of money. I guess they're saying it doesn't necessarily matter that it's a smaller amount, but it is a smaller amount because if you worked hard and you had $1 trillion, you probably would not have this perspective about money. But also there are some people that are experiencing a lot of wealth that do have this perspective. So whatever, we move on, we continue with the example. So if you're working hard to receive money, letting go of that money can be more difficult. And the reason why it can be more difficult is because you've worked for however fucking long, breaking your back, working yourself physically to exhaustion. Let's say you're working for minimum wage. $20 for a fucking hour's worth of work? Fuck. $20 for an hour of your time. How many hours of your time do you have to work? Not even taking into account taxes and different shit like that you're paying. How many hours do you have to work to make $20,000? How exhausted are you after working all of those shifts? And do you even have $20,000 in the account? Somebody who believes that they have to work hard to receive money cannot fathom paying $20,000 for one plane ticket, one plane ride. Where the fuck is the plane taking me? The goddamn moon? For $20,000? Because in order to receive, in order to earn $20,000, I would have to break my fucking back. I would have to work myself to exhaustion. I can't imagine how hard I would have to work to allow myself to receive $20,000. That's why people come from the perspective, all this money and this is all that I got. This is the shift. This is the perspective shift. If this is something that you experience, something that you see, this is a different way of looking at things, a higher perspective, as we like to call it. You're paying for your desired experience. I've actually seen it said in a couple different ways. One way that I've seen it said was, and this was a painting instructor who talked about learning how to paint with oil paints and stuff like that. he was like, I watched different tutorials and stuff, and there were some tutorials that were like on tape, and these tutorials cost hundreds of dollars. And some people might say that that's a lot of money, but the way that I see it is, if I got at least one thing that I didn't know before, then it was worth it, because it saved me some time, some trial and error. So now we're having a conversation about investing into a particular experience, investing into a course, which you absolutely should be investing into my course, because you're listening to this and you're going, oh my God, she breaks things down in such an amazing way. And she cusses oh so beautifully. And she's just so funny and she's so amazing. I know, I am also a mind reader. So if we're having a conversation about investing into a course or something like that, then as long as I'm getting what I asked for, as long as I'm being helped, as long as I'm being supported in reaching my goal, I am now reaching my goal easier because I've invested in this thing, then it's worth the money. So now we're having a conversation about valuing our time. Valuing our time. You could do all of the work that I do. You could figure out, you could read the books, you could go to the workshops, you could travel the country making money along the way. You could drive through Memphis, Tennessee, parking in random parking structures, crying to your spirit guides, pulling oracle cards, asking if the money for your next meal and gas and Airbnb or hotel is actually going to come in. You could do that. You could start your own business. You could go to New Orleans and you could get cursed. You could do everything that I have done over the past several years, and you could come up with your own systems and your own healing. It wouldn't be mine because you don't have my perspective. You don't see the world in the way that I do. You don't have the guys that I have. So it wouldn't be mine. Let's not get that part twisted. It wouldn't have my flair. It wouldn't have my pizzazz. It wouldn't have my razzle dazzle, but you could figure it out. But how fucking long would that take you? I started this healing journey in the summer of 2018. It's now the summer of 2022, a couple months before that maybe anniversary time. And actually, I'm trying to think. It's around the same time that I started my healing journey. So actually, fuck the timeline. What's my point? My point is that it would take you several years. It would take you several years to learn the things that I've learned, and also to toot my own horn. This is my zone of genius. I grow really quickly. Like, there are many, many people that are like, whoa, that was really fast. I grow much quicker than the average person. Astrologically, I have Jupiter and Aries in the 5th house with my sun and my Mercury. I'm really, really smart and brilliant, and I'm just amazing. And I grow really, 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 really quickly. And people that work with me grow really, 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 really quickly because they're tapping into my energy, and it's my superpower. So what's my point? My point is that anybody could figure it out. Anybody could do it. And the energy that they have and their perspective and the way that they show up in the world is going to determine the courses that they make, or the videos that they offer, or the things that they talk about, or the way that they talk about it, their culture, where they come from, the music that they listen to, the movies that they watch. I give a lot of pop culture references, you know what I mean? All of these different things are going to come together to create something completely different from mine, but it is absolutely possible for you to figure it out. The question is, do you have 4 years? And when I say 4 years, I mean I haven't had a break. Yes, I was traveling across the country, but I wasn't on vacation. I was working. I was working, emotionally working, healing. moving through shit. It's so funny because I've, been told a lot. I come from a family that doesn't value emotional well-being. I come from a family that doesn't value mental health, and I believe that a lot of us will relate to that natural consequence of the hyper-masculine society and world that we all live in, or a paradigm that a lot of people are living in. So, from certain perspectives, I've been sitting around living rent-free for the past 4 years. From a spiritual fucking perspective, from an emotional fucking perspective, oh, I've been putting in work every single day. Because I was also learning boundaries. I wouldn't stop working until I was exhausted and literally could not work. My body is so tired. I have to sleep. If you wanted to do this work and you wanted to go through the growth and expansion, you cannot have another job while you do this work. You'd have to quit your job. You have to have the faith and the courage to quit your job and to do this full time, allowing yourself to be supported by the universe. But if you're coming from the place that I was coming from, you wouldn't feel worthy of being completely supported. So then you'd have to be moving through all of the healing and moving through the fear, the anxiety, the panic attacks. Is the money going to come? Am I going to have the money to pay my taxes? What if I go to jail? Because, our fears aren't always the most rational or logical. And you're sitting in your car that you don't know how you're going to pay your car note for the next month, and you're talking to your spirit guides and you're crying, and you're not in Tennessee, but you're at a local park in the town that you live in, and you're crying in the car, and you're going, I don't know how I'm going to pay my car note next month. And you're going, I don't know how to pay taxes because nobody really loved me or supported me, and I didn't have anybody to really teach me how to be an adult. So I'm learning it all by myself, except you didn't even have the emotional awareness at that time to know that you were just learning skills. So you didn't even really know that you're afraid. So you're sitting here having panic attacks. You don't know that you're afraid. And you're crying, you're dry heaving, you're praying to God, you're screaming at God, you're cussing out your spirit guides. Oh, baby, it's been a fucking journey. You could do all of that if you wanted to. If you had 4 years to completely dedicate your time, energy, effort, attention, and focus to you, pouring into you, figuring your shit out, going to workshops, watching videos for hours and hours and hours, rewatching videos, doing journal prompts, figuring out what works for you. If you have the time, energy, and effort to dedicate at least 4 years, and I'm going to be honest because most people are not as fast as me, it probably would take the average person 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. There are people that go entire lifetimes without doing the healing and the growth that I have done. So, let's not be modest here. But you could do it. Anybody could do it. But do you have the time to do all of that shit when you could just get my course and be seeing a fuck ton of results within a month's time? And as you continue to listen and listen again, you get more and more upgraded. You have the videos playing in the background. You're more and more upgraded. You do the journal prompts so often that the thoughts are just naturally coming to your mind. Because as you build that momentum, doing the inner work just becomes a part of the way that you live life. It becomes a part of the way that you think. I don't have moments anymore where, and we started this talking about money. I'm going to bring it back. Don't worry. I'm going to bring it back. I might go on a tangent or 5, but I'm always going to circle back to the main point. So, fuck, I forgot what I said. What was I just talking about? Not going back to the main point. Oh, yes, it becomes, thank you, your natural way of being and living in life. So I don't have experiences where I feel down and out and I just sit in that energy. Years and years and years ago, I would have had that experience. As you move through this, and I really started tapping into my gifts, what I'm referencing would have been around the time that I actually started my business. that summer of 2019, oh my God. And I was expecting to be swimming in cash, and I came back to California, and the cash flow didn't stop, but all of these beliefs and all this shit came up, right? So cash flow wasn't what it was when I had originally started my business. It was just so much going on. And I'm crying, and I'm like, what the fuck did I do? And I'm like, I just want to quit this business. Like, I can't do this, whatever. And then my ancestors come to me. And then we would have those moments. So it started off with moments like that, where yes, I would cry, and yes, I would have my moments, and yes, I would want to quit. And then you have this powerful team of ancestors and spirits that are like, hey, we're here, we got you. We love you, cry, feel your feelings, feel your emotions. And then as I'm done crying and I'm ready to feel better, which that part always comes, that part always happens. And when you join the course, you'll get access to the Asking to Feel Better workshop, and then you'll know how to really use that affirmation to your advantage. So good. That asking to feel better is one of the most foundational things that I have ever experienced, and it's the thing that helps me to allow in all of the resources, all of the teachings, and really allow myself to be guided. So anyway, it was like asking to feel better, and then I'm open to a higher perspective. Okay, what's my point? So you've got these guides that are pouring into, these ancestors that are pouring into you, right? Oh my God. And so, excuse my neighbors in the background. So, hold on. All I can think is dogs barking in my fucking head. Okay, what was I just talking about? Okay, what the hell was I just talking about? I was talking about, oh yes, it becomes natural. So sometimes you want to quit. Then you have spirit guides coming to you, and they're like, who are you? And you're like, I'm Nathallie Hughes, or insert your name there. And it's like, what does that mean? It means I'm a fucking warrior. It means that I don't quit. It means that I'm not a punk bitch. And then you keep going. And then... And then it becomes more and more natural. The more that you do it, that momentum builds. And then you get to a point where you don't internalize things in the way that you did. You don't have the downward spiral moments anymore because you've got this momentum built up of asking to feel better. You've got this momentum built up of, okay, I felt the feelings. The feelings are naturally starting to dissipate because our emotions, and this does not count for when you're like processing like traumatic stuff and things like that, but our emotions typically are only going to last like, I think it's like 90 to like 120 seconds. I can never remember if it's 90 or 120, so I'll say 90 to 120. So your emotions, it's going to build up and up and up, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. But eventually, it's going to decrease. It's going to go back down. So you're learning to ride the waves of your emotions. And as you get better and better at working with your emotions, riding the waves of your emotions, asking to feel better, processing those journal prompt questions that come, are going to start coming naturally. What do you think that this means about you? What story am I telling myself right now? And is this story ultimately true? And this is the story that I'm choosing instead. That process comes more naturally and more naturally and more naturally. It gets quicker and quicker and quicker and easier and easier and easier, to the point where now I can sit and go, oh, that's a feeling of unworthiness. I forgive myself for feeling unworthy. Or I might say I feel unworthy, and I still deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself for my little EFT script moments. And then I'll say I open up for a higher perspective, or I'll choose the new belief. I'll remind myself I'm inherently worthy of money. I'll remind myself I'm good enough. I'll remind myself it gets to be easy. I remind myself this is the only thing that I have to do to allow it in, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it well. I'll remind myself God is on my side. I'll remind myself of all the new stories that we're choosing. And then we just move on. So it used to take a lot more time. And when you're processing, moving through things, it does take a little bit more time. But the more that you do it, it gets easier and easier and easier and faster and faster and faster. So you invest in a course because you want to experience change now. You're ready to experience relief now. And you don't have the desire to dedicate the time, energy, and effort it takes to figuring it all out on your own. So when we have the perspective of this much money for this, it's just unworthiness. It's just a feeling of unworthiness. That's literally it. It's just a feeling of unworthiness. Because the perspective of somebody that feels worthy is like, I want this thing, and it costs this much amount of money, and I'm going to pay this amount of money for that because I want this thing. And I know that more money is coming. Some people might do I know that more money is coming because I have a steady paycheck coming in every single blah, blah, blah. Somebody else might do I know that steady income and money is coming because God is on my side and I'm inherently worthy of money. So there's different paradigms available that will put you in that position where it's like, I'm going to spend whatever I'm going to spend. But the point is that you spend whatever is requested of you to spend because you want what you want and it costs what it costs. Period, point blank. And if you're the creator of your reality and you're meant to create your reality, and money is how this reality functions and operates, then that simply must mean that the money that you need is coming, that the money that you need in order to manifest that lifestyle, those flights, those courses, whatever, it simply must mean that that money must be coming into your life. It simply must mean that you are capable of allowing in that much money. Your job is to make it easy for the money to come in. Your job is to open up, make space, and make room for that money to come in. That's why money wants to come into your life. Because money is support. Support wants to come into your life. God always wants to support you in manifesting your desires because that's what you came here for. You came here to have what you want to have, and you have your specific characteristics, your desires, your way of seeing the world. You're drawn to what you're drawn to because God's like, I want to know what it's like to be a Latinx person who loves pop punk music and wants to go and experience Warped Tour. I don't know, that's not my identity. But it's like, I want to know what it's like to have that particular experience. And so if I'm that particular person, then the resources that I need to allow in that particular experience must come because it's God's will. So it's God's will for you to receive money. It's God's will for you to create your reality. It's God's will for you to receive your desires. If you live in a paradigm where money is hard to come by, if you live in a paradigm where you have to work hard, you have to work yourself to exhaustion in order to receive money, maybe that's something that you want to change. Maybe that's something that you want to shift. Maybe that's something you want to release. And if you need help with that and you're ready to release that and you don't want to spend 4 years or 4+ years, if we're being completely honest, working through all of that shit and figuring it out on your own, then you are in luck because I have a course. And it's called the Elevate into a New Circumstance course. And it breaks shit down and it makes it so simple. And I help you elevate and I help you tap in. And you hear the sirens in the background, so I really have nothing else to say. The links to the details of the course and to join are in the description box of this video or at the bottom of this email or in the bio or the what the fuck ever. I don't know where this is going to be. But if you're watching this, then you can find it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.